This is Kevin Kennard with Spiral X, here to talk about our Series 10 dual BTEX force draft units. This is our design to take on your larger DEHYs around 5 or 6 mil. And I'll show you how we kind of oriented this in a way that we would expect it to be on site. And I'll talk a little bit about its features and functions. So, assuming you got your DEHY somewhere over here, your reboiler, coming off the still column, most important thing will be to pipe it down however you want, but make sure it comes in midway of these two BTEX units so that you can tee off and be as symmetric as possible. That way you get the most equally dispersed flow taking on your single reboiler with these two BTEX units. The more symmetric you're going to get, the better flow evenly distributed to each BTEX unit. Much like all of our tube bundles, all 304 stainless steel construction, no pass plates, so you get full loads going straight through. And then as that condensate is created, it's going to drop down. You'll see no drainage tubing, no drainage piping anywhere through here. It's going to be straight top to bottom pass, eventually ending up in our accumulator tanks of all the condensate. So you get a drier gas there, which will then go into our main accumulator tank on the combustor skid, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And then finally your drier gas going on to your combustor to get burnt off. All of our BTEX skids have a dual pump system for lead lag or a backup redundancy. We also have the programming to where each cycle it's going to, the active and backup pump will switch roles. That way you don't get one pump sitting dormant for too long. Whenever it's needed, you find out it's actually also messed up or locked up. This ensures that both pumps are going to get equal runtime, extend their life, and you have more perceived knowledge of when one of the pumps might be going bad. You'll see on these BTEX skids, everything is pre-wired, the conduit's pre-ran for each individual BTEX skid and the combustor skid. So field wiring, all you'll have to do is Ethernet, Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable connections from each of the BTEX to the main control module on the combustor skid. And all the internals are going to be class 1 diff 2. The distance in between the skids themselves has to be at least 12 feet so that you get enough free space in here to collect fresh air on both sides. And then you got to be within 100 feet between the BTEX systems and the combustor. We say that only because you get some degradation in the communication lines when you go above 100 feet. These models you see here are ASME coated tanks, stainless steel. We can get you that, or our standard carbon steel tanks, flat top and bottom. Electric level switch controls are going to feed into individually dedicated junction boxes. Those two are going to tie in together and will eventually tie into the main control box on the combustor skid. Again, all stainless piping for the pumps, and 1 horsepower motors on the pumps, 3 horsepower motors on the fans. Each of these boxes you see here will have motor control or the motor starters for the fans and the pump motors. Now you'll see the outlets for these. They're going to come out, come into your final accumulator tank. This is just to catch any residual condensate that might be collected in the piping from there to here, and also dissipates the volume, reduces the pressure so you get even less instances of back pressure. This system, this control module has an HMI screen where you'll be able to see this skid as well as the other two BTEX skids at a glance. You can see the status of them, which level switches are being activated, which pumps are activated, and when and if you hit the high level and have liquids going in, where we will go into bypass and shut each of the systems down. If any of the skids, if any of the BTEX skids hit a high level, or if your combustor accumulator tank gets a high level, or if your ProFire pilot goes out, any of these instances will initiate your ESD of all 3 of the skids and send an alert out to your SCADA system that a shutdown has occurred. All 3 boxes you've seen here today are all interconnected. They have the status of each one. You'll be able to control each one from your main control panel here on the combustor unit.